Good day, gentlemen. Thank you for joining me for Man Talk again. This is Man Talk 7. Yes, I think it's 7, or it could be 8. It's probably 7. Well, anyway, this isn't from the Pinterest. This is just stuff that came to mind, based on my interaction with that nurse. Gentlemen, as men, we have to do succession planning. And I learned this because my art teacher in high school was enamored with Leonardo da Vinci. Now, I was a bigger fan of Michelangelo. Don't get me wrong, da Vinci is a genius, but I love Michelangelo's sculptures. Anyway, long story short, if you studied the Renaissance, sooner or later you're going to come upon the Medicis. And this is where I got the name from my book from, the chapters in my books for the Emperor's Club, the Kingmaker. The Medicis were called the Kingmakers. And I love that. And gentlemen, you got to be on a wavelength to be a kingmaker. Now, for you to fully grasp what I'm talking about, but surely if you were over 18 and you went to school in the West, you had to have come across the Renaissance in the study of history. And you can't talk about the Renaissance without the Medicis. Sooner or later. Anywho, the Medicis influence was powerful because I could be wrong, but to me it seems as if they had a plan in place. A plan was in place for the children in the family. Like, you weren't just born because you were born. So therefore, much was expected of you, much was required of you, and therefore much was invested in you. And I think as men, this is how we've got to approach life and dealing with our resources. And not just money, I mean everything: time, energy, attention, focus. Everything we do should be revolved around our succession planning. In addition to the Medicis, I came upon this from a magazine. I can't remember if it was Vanity Fair or it was not the Robb Report. Anyway, one magazine, the magazines that I subscribe to, where there was a Brooks Brothers ad. Now it was, I think it was four full page ad. One, there's a article between each one. Well, anyway, when you turn to the page, it opened up on the right side, and it says they had the picture with the clothes, and it had generations of style. Then you turn the page, there's writing. Turn the page again, there's another one, another advertisement for Brooks Brothers, and it had generations. Anyway, each ad had generations of something. Generations of style, generations of taste, whatever, what have you. But the focus was on generations. And this particular ad had a man and a woman. Well, from the way they were posed and arranged, you could assume that they were married. Then, when you turn the page, there was a younger couple that looked like that couldn't have been there when they were younger, or their children who were grown. Then the third page was that same couple from the second page with small children. Then when you turn the page to the fourth advertisement, there's the man, the children, the couple from the second page, their children, and elderly couples. And I'm like, this is it right here. This is exactly what my grandmother talks about when that's it, about the bloodline. My grandmother was a big believer in the bloodline. So gentlemen, you've got to be thinking about your bloodline, how your actions today will affect the generations that are going to be coming down the line. So you can't just live for yourself, you can't just live for the day. You've got to think about the future, your children, your grandchildren, all the way down to the 10th generation. Because I remembered reading something as a child in the Bible that I felt was horribly unfair. When the Bible says that God said he will visit vengeance upon people to the 10th generation. I'm like, that's not fair. I'm not even there. My grandparents weren't even there, and I too am going to be punished for what someone did. Then as I got older, I realized how serious it is. I've got to conduct myself in such a way that my actions cause blessings and favor to fall upon my children and my generation, to make sure my bloodline is blessed. And gentlemen, life is too challenging as it is to have to be paying for the sins of people you never met in your life. Now, like my principal says, in life, you can choose. You have to choose. And what you do will come today, will come back, excuse me, to help you or haunt you. That's it. So gentlemen, you gotta make your mind up right now. Will what you do today come back to help not only you, but your children and your 10th down to the 10th generation? Now you notice I didn't say a haunt. If you listen to the Mile Club, that means you about business. So I don't even have to mention the negative aspect of the choice. You only have one choice. So anyway, gentlemen, that's that. And thank you for joining me. That's it. Thank you. Goodbye.